You can either buy this for 175 platinum, or the blueprint for it is inside of the Tenno Lab, which makes this clan tech. But honestly, it looks pretty nice for what is basically the 4th machete. But let's ignore that information for now and say it's the 3rd, because there's the Nami solo, the machete, and now this. It does come with a V polarity, which is pretty handy. Unfortunately, there's only really this though, which is the Sundering Weave. Comparing this to the machete, well, comparing it to the Nami solo, it is still better. The fact that this has over 1 attack speed is actually ridiculously useful for it. That and its added ability to add corrosive to the Fatal Attraction for djinn Sentinel is useful. Now, I've heard that thing, it's weird, it does it in pulses, and then at the same time it also adds it to the weapon, so looking forward to trying that out. But at the same time, adding all 4 of the dual stat elemental stuff only takes this to 85% status chance. So honestly, I would format this with 2 dashes for the elemental combo, ditch the 4 dual stat ones, add in body count and weeping wounds being for status what blood rush is for crit. Not as high numbers, but still pretty useful. And then that will increase the crit, and the elemental being the 2 dashes if you're going to format this. Yes, you can former in a D if you want to run blast as well, but if you do want to run blast or anything that involves using North Wind, which is the ice damage mod, which is D polarity, it's easier to just put that in an empty one and body count can go over into the other format dash. As for, I think there's 1 empty slot after that, I did toy around with Primed Fury, and though it's fun with Primed Fury, I kind of played around with Buzzkill on this, which did make it so much better. And honestly, this weapon was not a letdown. The machete has, for a long time, been classed as the worst weapon in Warframe when it comes to melees, primaries, secondaries, snipers, shotguns, anything. Worst weapon, because it was pretty bad. I mean, it's not a starting weapon, so its low stats made no sense. But the first mission I took this on was a 25 to 30, I think it was one of the Syndicate missions, and after 1 or 2 hits and the enemy died, I kind of went, that's actually pretty decent for a weapon that, you know, the machete would be hacking and slashing at everything and nothing going down. It was just so nice having a machete that worked for a change, rather than the Nami solo was good, but in the back of everybody's mind, it's just a slightly better machete, whereas this was just better on every aspect. Does share the same stance, there's only 1 stance for machetes, but the difference was just through the roof on this. I did play around with Buzzkill on this, and it did almost double the damage it was doing, but honestly, I think the biggest side to this more than anything else was when you killed something and djinn used Fatal Attraction. Of course, first time I used djinn I forgot all of the mods. Mediray wasn't on there, Animal Instinct wasn't on there, it was kind of a bit sucky. But once I've sorted them out, I have had to former them again to get stuff to fit. The Fatal Attraction bestowing the weapon with corrosive damage, because that's how it works, it meant that you could swap the elemental stuff over and still have corrosive damage on the weapon as well as something else. You didn't exactly have to put it on there, which was weird, but still kind of fun. So you've got Fatal Attraction bringing them to you, while adding corrosive damage to the weapon, the actual blade. So it's taking them out as they come to you, and the 2 kind of work really well if you think about it, because you've got Fatal Attraction on djinn bringing the enemies to you, and you've got a melee weapon that temporarily has corrosive on it to take the armor off them to take them out, and then it attracts more enemies and you've already got the corrosive back because you killed somebody, and it worked really well, especially since the whole vacuum within means that any sentinel can be used and they will all have vacuum on them now, so they'll all pick stuff up within a certain range. It was a nice combination between this. I kind of wish this worked with any sentinel rather than be specific to one. But this does raise the question of, if this has come out with this, and you've got the Syndicate weapons that had weird effects to them, and the Helios is a Helios is a sentinel. What am I thinking? The Helio core that scans them. Does that mean that either going to go back and start adding effects to all their weapons, or maybe just every weapon from here on is going to be have its own weird side effect? If that's the rate they're going to go, then there's a lot of different weapons, there's a lot of different effects you could have, and it could get out of control really quickly. But pairing the Gazal? I don't want to say Gazelle, because that doesn't look right, it's got an A in it. I don't know, I never looked into how you pronounce it. But this new machete, paired with djinn, was really useful, and I don't want to say it was fun, because it is still a fairly slow attack speed of 1.08. There are better melee weapons out there, but considering the rest of the machetes all sucked, this was a giant leap in the right direction. So hopefully the next machete will be just absolutely amazing. Maybe not.